Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coins, the top 4 most valuable Abraham Wheat Penny coins, value in today's market. So let's get started. First up, the 1940 Wheat Penny. And yes, we're focusing on the 1940 penny without a mint mark, specifically in damaged condition. So, how much is it worth today in 2024? Let's dive right into it. First, a quick refresher. The 1940 Wheat Penny is part of the iconic Lincoln series, minted from 1909 to 1958. This particular coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, with the reverse showing the wheat stalks, designed one of the most recognized symbols in U.S. coinage history. Now, the 1940 penny we're talking about today has no mint mark, which means it was produced in Philadelphia. Other mints, like Denver and San Francisco, also produced pennies that year, but they each had different mint marks. Now, let's talk about damage. If your 1940 wheat penny has been in circulation for decades, there's a good chance it has some wear and tear. Coins that are scratched, corroded, or bent are considered damaged. And I know what you're thinking. Damaged coins aren't worth much. Well, let's break down the reality. In general, coins with significant damage do lose value compared to those in pristine or uncirculated condition, but they still have some value, especially if the coin is old or rare enough to still attract collectors. It all depends on the extent of the damage. So, what is the value of a 1940 wheat penny in damaged condition today in 2024? In most cases, a heavily damaged 1940 wheat penny will be worth only a few cents, around 3 to 5 cents, just slightly above its face value. Of course, if the damage is less severe, maybe just some light scratching or discoloration, you might see the coin valued anywhere from 10 to 20 cents. Now, there's an important note here. Not all damage negatively impacts a coin's value. Sometimes, coins with unique damage, like unusual patinas, color variations, or interesting wear patterns, can still be of interest to certain collectors. For example, if a coin has a unique error or a damaged area that is particularly interesting, collectors might pay a bit more. That said, these cases are rare. Most of the time, if the coin is heavily damaged or corroded, the value drops. To sum up, the 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark, even in damaged condition, is generally worth only a few cents, usually 3 to 5 cents for the most worn examples. However, if it's in slightly better condition, you might get 10 to 20 cents, and in rare cases with mild, unique damage, you could see it go for a bit more. But don't let the condition discourage you. If you have a 1940 wheat penny, it's still part of history. Keep an eye out for any coins in your collection that might be rarer than you think. If you come across one in better condition or one with no damage, it could be worth more than you expect. Next up, the 1956 D wheat penny. But there's a twist. This particular penny is in a blackened or shaded condition. You might be wondering, does that affect its value? Well, in today's video, we'll break down the value of this unique coin in 2024. So, let's dive right in. First, let's start with a little history. The 1956 wheat penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse. The D mint mark indicates it was produced at the Denver Mint, which was one of the 3 mints making pennies that year, the other 2 being Philadelphia no mint mark and San Francisco. The 1956 D wheat penny is not particularly rare, but it's still a favorite among collectors due to its iconic design and historical significance. And of course, it's still a part of the popular Lincoln Wheat series that ran from 1909 to 1958. Now, let's talk about this blackened condition. You might have noticed that your 1956 D wheat penny is a bit darker than usual. This could be caused by a number of factors: exposure to certain chemicals, oil, or long-term storage in a less than ideal environment. Coins like these may appear black or darkened due to environmental exposure, but the term blackened generally refers to the overall darkened surface, which could be from oxidation, dirt accumulation, or other external elements. It's important to note that while some collectors dislike coins with tarnish or discoloration, others may still find them appealing, depending on the overall look. So how much is a 1956 D wheat penny in this blackened condition worth in today's market? Well, the answer is it depends. A 1956 D wheat penny in normal condition, with no significant wear, is usually worth around 10 to 20 cents in 2024. But when you factor in the blackened condition, the value can drop. Coins in blackened or heavily tarnished conditions typically sell for less than their uncirculated or lightly worn counterparts. For a 1956 D penny in this type of condition, you're likely looking at a value of around 3 to 5 cents, sometimes up to 10 cents, depending on the severity of the blackening and collector interest. Now, you might be wondering, does the blackened condition always kill the value? Not necessarily. If the coin still has clear details and the blackened appearance is more of a surface-level discoloration, collectors may still be interested, especially if the coin is unique or if the darkened areas add an interesting visual effect. In some cases, coins with attractive dark toning or unique patterns of oxidation may attract premium prices, but that's more the exception than the rule. So, unless the coin has some sort of rare, unique appeal, like a striking pattern of toning, it likely won't be worth more than a few cents above face value. If you have a blackened 1956 D wheat penny or any other coins with tarnish or discoloration, here are a few tips. First, resist the urge to clean it. Cleaning coins can significantly reduce their value and may even cause more damage. If you want to improve the look of the coin, it's best to leave it as is and let collectors judge its appeal based on its current state. Instead, store your coins in a cool, dry place to prevent further damage. And remember, a well-preserved coin, even if blackened, can sometimes hold more value than you think, especially if it has historical or aesthetic appeal. So, to recap, a 1956 D wheat penny in blackened condition is typically worth between 3 and 10 cents in 2024, depending on how much the blackening affects its appearance and how well the details are still visible. If your coin is relatively well preserved despite the discoloration, it may still have some collector value, but generally blackened coins are priced lower than those in better condition. Next up, the 1941 S wheat penny. But this isn't just any penny. This one's got some unique characteristics. It's in blackened and dirty condition, and you're probably wondering, how much is it worth in today's market? Well, stick around and let's break down the value of this interesting coin in 2024. Before we dive into the condition of this coin, let's quickly go over the basics. The 1941 S wheat penny features the iconic Abraham Lincoln design on the obverse, and on the reverse, you've got the classic wheat stalks. The S mint mark means this penny was produced at the San Francisco Mint, which is one of the 3 mints in operation that year, along with Philadelphia and Denver. The 1941 S penny is part of the Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1919 to 1958, and while it's not a super rare coin in itself, it's still a favorite among collectors due to its historical value. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin. When we say blackened and dirty, we're referring to how the penny has been affected by time and its environment. The blackened look could be due to oxidation, exposure to moisture, or even dirt and grime that have built up over time. It's the kind of coin that looks worn and aged, but still holds on to its history. These types of coins are usually seen as being in poor condition, and, unfortunately, when a coin is dirty or blackened, it can significantly affect its market value. This is especially true for coins that aren't rare or in high demand in their damaged state. So, what does a 1941 wheat penny in blackened and dirty condition actually fetch in today's market? And if you've got a coin that's heavily tarnished, dirty, or discolored, you're not going to get top dollar. A 1941 wheat penny in this condition will typically be worth anywhere from 5 to 10 cents. Yep, that's the reality for coins in poor condition. In general, a coin like this isn't going to fetch much more than a few cents above face value. However, some factors can affect its price, like how much detail is still visible and how the blackened and dirty appearance actually impact the overall look. Now, just because a penny is blackened or dirty doesn't automatically mean it's completely worthless. Some collectors appreciate coins with natural patina, unique toning, or a look that reflects the coin's history. If the coin still retains strong details, like the wheat stalks or the mint mark, it could still hold a little more value. Coins that are blackened but still display well-known features may be worth a little more to niche collectors. But remember, that's more of an exception than the rule. For most collectors, the value of a blackened and dirty coin is going to be low, as they typically prefer coins in better condition. If you have a dirty 1941 wheat penny, you might be tempted to clean it. But here's a tip: do not. Cleaning coins can cause irreversible damage and can drastically reduce their value. Even if you try to remove dirt or grime, it might end up scratching or further tarnishing the coin. The best way to preserve the value of a blackened or dirty coin is to leave it as is. If it's really dirty, just store it properly in a coin holder or capsule to prevent any further wear or exposure. Over time, if it's well preserved, it may still find a collector willing to give it a higher price. So, to recap, a 1941 wheat penny in blackened and dirty condition is generally worth between 5 and 10 cents in today's market. It's definitely not a high-value coin, but it still has historical significance and could appeal to the right collector. If you have one of these in your collection, just remember, condition plays a huge role in its value, and no matter what, it's a piece of American history. Next up, the 1934 wheat penny. If you've got one of these in your collection, or maybe even in your change jar, you might be wondering how much it's worth today, especially if it's in good condition and doesn't have a mint mark. So, let's dive in to the value of this coin and see how much it could fetch in today's market. First, let's quickly go over the 1934 wheat penny itself. This coin was part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. On the obverse, we have Abraham Lincoln's portrait, and on the reverse, the famous wheat stalk design. It's one of the more common years in the series, but it still has historical significance. Now, the 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, as coins from Philadelphia typically don't carry a mint mark. While other years of wheat pennies have higher mintages, the 1934 issue still holds value, especially in better conditions. Now, when we say the coin is in good condition, what exactly does that mean? A coin in good condition typically shows significant wear, but still retains enough detail to be identifiable. In the case of the 1934 wheat penny, the Lincoln portrait and wheat stalks should be visible, though worn, and the mint year and inscriptions should still be legible. Coins in good condition generally have worn edges, some fading in the design, but the details are still clear enough for collectors to appreciate the coin's historical value. So, how much is a 1934 wheat penny in good condition worth today in 2024? In general, a 1934 wheat penny in good condition is valued between 10 and 15 cents. It's not an extraordinarily rare coin, but it holds more value than a typical coin in poor condition. Of course, the value can fluctuate depending on the exact condition. If your coin is well defined with minimal wear, it could be worth a little more. But in most cases, for a coin in good condition, you're looking at the 10 to 15 cent range. Now let's talk about when this coin can be worth more. While a 1934 penny in good condition won't fetch a fortune, it's still possible to see a higher price if the coin is in better shape, like fine or very fine condition. Coins with sharper details, less wear, and clearer features can see prices closer to $1 or more. And if you happen to have a 1934 wheat penny in uncirculated condition or one with unique characteristics, it could be worth significantly more, sometimes even $5 to $10 or more, depending on the market. Here's a quick tip for anyone collecting wheat pennies. Always check the details before making any assumptions about value. The grade of your coin can make a big difference. If you have a 1934 wheat penny and you're not sure about its condition, I highly recommend getting it appraised by a professional or using a grading guide to evaluate its condition. Also, keeping your coins in good storage, like a coin holder or capsule, can help maintain their condition and potentially preserve their value over time. So, to recap, a 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition is worth around 10 to 15 cents today. It may not be one of the most valuable pennies out there, but it still holds historical value, and for many collectors, that's what matters most. If you've got one of these in your collection, it's definitely worth holding onto. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you, and next time, happy collecting!